All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is going to be a little awkward, but that's okay. As promised, I'm going to start off by showing my wonderful puppies. If there she is, that's Cadence. This boy's name's Briscoe. Say hi. Hello. All right. So I am at my house. I am going to do some notes. All right. I'm going to try to make this first video short and sweet and to the point. So let's go ahead and get started. This lesson number 1. Okay, so we're going to title our notes, so you can do your notes with me, or you can do them after you watch the video. Doesn't matter to me, okay? But the title of the notes is going to be called Graphing Exponential Functions. All right, so basically we're going to need some graph paper, so you're probably going to need to go over to the side of the room and get some graph paper. All right, and the only thing that I'm going to write on this piece of paper, and then I'm going to switch over to this grid right here, is I'm going to write down some key facts, some things that we have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and change colors. Okay, so here are the key facts to graph these scary exponential equations. All right, so they're not lines. Please remember that they're curves, okay? So just like anything that we graph in this class, the first thing that we have to do is we have to have, good Lord, we have to have a table of values, okay? And on this table of values, it's going to have at least 5 points. And I'm going to show you guys how to get those points here in just a minute. But you have to have the tables to get credit on your homework. Okay. Point number 2. Okay. They need to be curves. All right. Please no straight lines today. All right. And then also, if we think back to these exponential equations that we've been talking about in class and think about the cutting the pieces of paper, okay, they will never touch 0. Never touch 0. Okay, so when I'm graphing these, I might get really, really close to 0, but I'm going to try my best to never touch 0. So you need to do the same thing. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to switch to my grid paper. All right, there it is. And I'm going to make my pencil a little smaller. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write an equation up here. So example number 1 would be y is equal to 3 times 2 raised to the x power. Okay, that's an exponent. All right. And so what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to draw out a grid. And if you go over to the side of the classroom and get a sheet of paper that has the grids on it, that's perfectly fine with me. Okay. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pick some test points. All right. And please make sure that you pick positive and negative numbers. Okay, so here's my table of values for this problem. Okay, we've got x and we've got y. All right, and so let's think about some numbers that we could possibly pick that would work well for our graph. So we need some negatives. So let's do -2. Let's do -1. We definitely need to include 0. That's very important for us here. Okay, and then also we should probably go ahead and pick +1 and +2. So if my suggestion is I would definitely pick -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 unless something happens when we plug those numbers in. So now, So how in the world do we get our y values if we pick our x values? Well, we're going to take our numbers and we're going to plug them into the variable. So you can take -2, plug that into x, and then type this in your calculator. So I apologize that I don't have a calculator screen for you guys to look at, but I think you guys are good enough with the calculators to go ahead and type these in on your own. So what you need to do is in your calculator, you need to type in -2 in for x, and you're going to get the output of 3 times 2 raised to the -2 power, okay? And that's going to give me 3 times 1/4, so that's going to give me 3/4. Okay. And then think about -1, -2, or I'm sorry, -1 when you plug it in for the x. That's going to go up in the exponent, and you're going to have 3 times 1/2, which is going to give me 3 over 2. Okay. Now, what if I plug in 0? Well, we know that anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's going to give me 3 times 1 is 3. Okay. And then if we plug in 1, that's going to give me 3 times 2 to the first, which is going to give me 6. Okay. And then 3 times 2 squared, that's going to give 3 times 4, which is going to give me 12. All right. So here's our 5 points, and then we just need to graph them as best as possible. So I'm going to go over here and go -1, -2. All right. Now, 3 over 4 isn't a whole number, so we're going to approximate that, and that's a little between 0 and 1. Okay. And then for -1, 3 over 2, if you need to type that in your calculator, it's going to give you 1.5. So we're going to put that dot right there. Okay. And then 0, 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it looks like it's going to be kind of hard to graph this last point. So as long as you have it on your table of values, and if it doesn't have room to graph, that's okay with me. But please make sure that you do the best job you can at making this curvy. Okay. Put arrows on it. And then we're done. All right. I'm going to show you one more example, and then I'm going to give you guys some bookwork to do. Now, the good news is that this is a test lesson, so you guys can ask me in person for some help, which is perfectly fine with me. But think about it, on Monday and Tuesday when you guys are watching these videos, I'm not going to be there, so you need to make sure that you're following along, that you're keeping up, and that you're asking good questions to each other. Okay? All right, so here's equation number 2. I'm going to go ahead and draw my graph again. All right, that should be good enough. We need to have our table of values, so x and y. For this problem, it's okay if we pick the same x values. So if we do -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, that'll still work. Okay, and so if you plug these into your calculator, go ahead and type those in and see what they look like. So if you plug in -2 for this exponent right here, hopefully your calculator tells you that that is +4. Okay. When you type -1 into your calculator, that hopefully gives you +2. We know that anything to the 0 power is 1. And then if I plug in 1, that's going to give me 0.5 or 1/2. And then if I plug in 2, that's going to give me 1 over 4. All right. Now, there's going to be something weird happen on this graph, and that's perfectly okay. So -2, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. -1, 2. 0, 1. 1, 1/2. And then 2, 1/4. Now notice how I'm going to get really close to the x-axis, but I'm never going to touch it. And when you sketch your graph, please make sure that this line never touches the x-axis. It's going to get really, really, really close, but it's never going to touch it. All right. So there's 2 examples. You can go back through this video. If you didn't understand something I did, you can always go back. Okay. And then, so down at the bottom of this page, I'm going to write your bookwork, and I'm going to be hounding you in class to make sure that you are doing this, okay? But it's page 457, problems 20 through 29, and please do all of them, all right? So thanks for watching. I hope this wasn't too long. We'll find out soon. I have no idea how long this video ended up being. So thank you for your cooperation, and see you soon.